Hola, good people, back again with another video, and we're gonna be continuing our support and resistance. So, last episode we had our levels mapped out accurately. According to how the bank stood, you can see that we tried to catch even numbers. Naturally, when you're plotting the correct support and resistance, you're gonna catch even numbers, or you're gonna get close to even numbers, and most importantly, never forget that it's a zone. It's not the line. It's a zone. So when you see moves like this happening, these are fake outs within that zone. And you can see that it failed to still get past that zone. When you see candles leaving long wicks within the zone, that is that's an indication. That's basically an indication that that price is rejecting that zone. Even though it may seem like it's within your support and resistance and it's about to break out, it could be a fake out. So as you can see how that works, the more accurate we get. So like, never get confused when, you make a trade and then you see that it rejects your zone and you thought that it was gonna go past it because of something like this happening or something like this happening, where price seems like it's gone in above your zone, but in reality it hasn't. And these are just things that you'll catch on the more time you spend on the charts. So with that being said, for me personally, when I trade, I would zoom into these zones because now I know my zones. And the amazing thing is that when you go onto a lower time frame, you're gonna see how your zones are affecting candles basically. And when you go onto the higher time frame, you're gonna see how your zones actually lead up to building bigger candles. So all these zones could be within one candle, within one daily candle. That's basically the idea. So it's basically just like trying to break down a candle. You can see how the the bigger on the larger time frames that the zone is actually really small. The more you go into it, and we'll just keep going deeper, just so that you really catch the idea and the concept. So you see, all my zones actually added up to about 1-2 weekly candles. So it's just trying to grasp the idea that small things are happening, which lead up to larger movements on the higher time frames. Let's go back to our 1 hour time frame. So now when I'm trading, this is what I would personally do, is I've got my zones, but now I'll look for the midpoint in between my zones, because as you can see, price is moving within these zones, but it's still creating other supports and resistance. But these are not major support and resistance, they are minor. So they're just gonna help us execute our trades in real time. They're not zones that you're gonna be looking at for the bigger picture. It's just something, to help you try anticipate moves and make trades and execute, because it takes time for these zones to form. So if you get to the mid levels, you can break it down even further and catch smaller moves, which are gonna have an impact on the larger time frames. So like this would be a zone for me. This will be an area for me that I would concentrate on. Here we don't have much here, so we won't really get into that. But here would be another area. As you can see, trying to get I'm not trying to I'm not trying to get these levels deliberately. These are levels that are just popping out on their own. And when I make my line, you can see that my line is actually accurate with where the wicks are being rejected. So that's not coincidental. That's happening for a reason. Because we plotted our zones correctly. So I'd have that. Usually I wouldn't just do it like on every zone. I would do it on the zones that I'm trading in. Because as you're trading, you will be moving these zones like this. You know, as you can see, like right where my arrow is, that a zone, it could be a support, like here. At this point, it's a support here. Right here, it's a support. But just like that, later on, it becomes a resistance here. So the zones keep changing. Support keep changing to resistance. Resistance keep changing to support, etc., etc. And you're just supposed to adjust as you're trading and as you're seeing how the price is moving. It's your job, your responsibility to adjust. Don't just stick to the zone and be like, no, I'm just going to trade like this. I'm going to leave it here. And then you're going to ignore the new resistance that's going to form here because you plotted your levels of support here and it was touching on all these areas and you don't want to mess up your chart. But then you can clearly see that there's a new resistance, so there's a new level. And in trading, as much as we look to the left and we look to the past to help us in the future, the most important thing is to concentrate on what's happening in the market as you trade in that exact moment. The stuff in the past, it's going to help you anticipate, but most of the most of the work that you're going to be doing is going to be happening in real time. So you always have to be ready to just, make that change. Same as when you're taking a trade, you always have to be ready because as you can see when it's moving in these zones, it could come and reject you. Maybe you're anticipating sales for price to continue going down, but then something started happening at this zone. In that moment, you should be able to just switch your bias and start anticipating buys and looking for trades for buying opportunities. So that's what support and resistance really helps you with, is that it will allow you to, to quickly change your bias on based off how you are reading it. So based off how you're reading your zones, you can quickly change your bias because the trader who sticks to one bias is going to miss out on a lot of opportunities, a lot of easy opportunities that he could have just taken. It's just his perception of it that I'm used to taking buys, I'm used to seeing green candles, so I'm only going to stick to buys. But basically, buys and sells are the same thing. It's just opposite spectrums, but same concept. Same concept. So that's how I plot my support and resistance. And hopefully, this video is going to help you understand how support and resistance helps most traders in identifying setups and opportunities to make wins, because it really accurately gives you a depiction of how price is rejecting certain areas. So basically, in layman's terms, it'll basically be showing you where the price is getting too high that people do not want to get in anymore, or the price is getting too low that people are scared because they'll have fear that it's going to keep getting lower and lower. So like basically that's what it's showing you. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Much love. Prayers up to all those dealing with corona, all the health workers, all those risking their lives. Deuces.